Assalamualaikum and good morning to all of you who watch this talk show. I'm your host Nargis and you're watching WHD TV show. So, because there are problems that cannot be avoided, we make it online. A show we will talk about different themes each week. This show will give you a lot of information that will be useful for yourself also for your future. So our theme for this week a cute, familiar, and popular, which is we will talk about depression and anxiety among students. So students are unique group of people who are passing for most critical period of life in which they experience many stressful events. As the education proceed to the higher level, the student used to face more stressful events like more touch syllabus, challenging work assignment, and project also. Residing in hostel, such a challenging need to be cope effectively. It is the duty of educator to help their student to cope from such stress, which allow them to have a stable mental health. So, to better understand about this topic, we have invited two people from different fields of work who have expertise about depression and anxiety. Firstly, we have a Dr. Noasha. She is a renowned psychiatrist who have diagnosed and treat people with all types of mental illness. Also, she has their own psychotherapy clinic. Wow, so good. So, then we also have a Miss Yuga Shin on our show today. Miss Yuga is a school counselor who have counseled and treat many students who have anxiety problem. She is here to share her thoughts and experience about depression and anxiety among the students. Next, let's start our talk show. Miss Yuga, students in this generation are unaware of mental illness. They displace the displace and nervous that they feel are simply brush off as a normal feeling to have as a student. Student with mental in, student with mental illness doesn't realize their mental problem until it reaches to a critical and take drastic decision with such as committed suicide. So, as a school counselor, what are the signs of depression that you have noticed in students who are having a depression? Miss Yuga, can you answer?
Yes, sure. There are many kinds of depression that can be noticed in students. Depression can show up in many specific ways, which aren't so quite obvious at first. For example, a student with depression might suddenly avoid meeting up with their friends or communicating with them. This student may be previously an extroverted student, but then they suddenly become quiet and reserved due to the depression. So if you as a student is having this kind of problem, if this becomes a regular occurrence, it could be a symptom of depression. Other than that, final exams or big projects can also certainly cause anxiety for students. If you find it hard to shake the worry after finishing your exam or when you are sending your assignment before the deadline, if you feel very nervous and you have anxiety, it may be a good idea for you to review a doctor so you can know whether you are experiencing the depression or an anxiety disorder. You may be experiencing depression if you have some of these symptoms most of the time for the last 2 weeks. So the symptoms are ongoing feelings of sadness, feeling angry and snapping at people for no reason, low self-esteem, finding it hard to sleep or sleeping too much, eating less than usual or eating more than usual, low energy, changing weights, difficulty in remembering things, having suicidal thoughts. These are some of the symptoms of having depression. Some people might also notice increase in alcohol or drug use. So students, whether they are in high school or college, um, if they are in depression, they may have experimented with drugs or alcohol. Depression might make students feel the need to turn substance more often, turn to the alcohol and drugs as a way to cope. So if this problem isn't addressed, it could turn into a alcohol use disorder or a substance use disorder.
Oh, I see. So, Dr. Noisha, we all know that there are a lot of causes and or factors that cause of depression and anxiety among the student. Can you explain to us the specific causes or factor of depression and anxiety among the student?
In some cases, urgent can come into play, having a close relative like parent or sibling. With depression can increase the chance that you experience depression, but genetics are not a guarantee that you will have depression yourself. It went through a traumatic experience that could also increase your likelihood of having depression. Various forms of abuse, losing a loved one in depression, big change, big change can be a trigger as well. Some students experience depression when they transition from middle school into high school. For instance, they can be a major stress, stressor for students. Leaving home to go to college for the first time can also bring on depression since there are so many things to figure out all on your own, such as from class schedule to dorm life and everything in between. Furthermore, final exam can put a lot of stress of a lot of pressure on students, and week of studying can feel isolating. Finally, many people with depression may simply have an imbalance of chemical in their bodies. They may not have experienced trauma or gone through stressful life event, but they still experiencing depression. All of these causes of depression, anyone experiencing depression deserve compassionate and supportive.
Yeah, that's right, doctor. So, the cause will further harm if we do not take action. Let's move on to another perspective, which is a way to prevent depression and anxiety among the student. Miss Yuga, can you explain it?
Yes, certainly. No matter what's the cause of depression, there are many ways to help prevent depression and anxiety. The first thing a student can do is to get active. It's all too easy for students to avoid exercising or doing physical activities, which is it is very low on their priority list as a student. After all, it's very tiring for students to do exercises for several hours per day. Students also might have a lot of homework waiting for them to complete after their classes end, so it might be difficult for them to do exercises or physical activities. Making exercise a priority can help them ward off depression, so it can really help them to schedule some exercise time in their calendar, in their daily activities, so they can hopefully prevent their depression. Students don't necessarily have to go to a gym to do some kind of activity. They can simply do a 15 minutes walk after school. Um, Other than that, this kind of activities like walking after school or doing some chores at house, something like that, these kind of activities can help them to give their mind a break, and it can help them clear their mind and remove their anxiety from their body. The second thing students can do is to socialize. Another important key to prevent depression is to socialize. You, as a student, must avoid isolating yourself and being reserved. Spending time with friends and family members can bring many benefits. Especially, can help them to stop depression from creeping up in certain occasions. Many medical researchers suggest that spending time with others can positively improve your mental health. Um, you can schedule some kind of activity on your calendar for any social activities. As for example, for college students, scheduling a weekly study session with a classmate at some place can work wonders for their mental health. Um, After all, it's really helpful to talk to friends about your problems because they are often experiencing the similar thing, and it can help you feel less lonely if you talk to your friends about your problems or your situation. You can remove your stress from that. Other than that, attending social events like a football game, concert, going to park, or even volunteering in a non-profit charity event are excellent ways to connect with other students. Connecting with other students, especially, can help you feel less lonely and you can remove your stress from yourself. The final thing students can do is to prioritize sleep. Having a regular healthy sleep schedule can help prevent depression and anxiety. It is advised for students from age 6 to 12 to have 9 to 12 hours of sleep per night, and for students from age 13 to 20 above to have 8 to 10 hours of sleep per night. It might be difficult for students, for some of them, to find your own sleeping pattern, but if you keep trying to fall asleep at the same time per night, it can really help to boost up your energy levels during the daytime. You can try things like reading a book, doing some gentle breathing exercise, or listening to a meditation podcast, or listening to music before going to bed. It can really help you to fall asleep. Keep active throughout the day. So if you're active throughout the day, it can make you feel tired and you can sleep more better during the bedtime. These are the things that can help to make you sleep, to have some quality sleep, which can prevent depression and anxiety.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea to prevent depression. Thank you, Miss Yukashini. Is there anything you want to add to that, Dr. Noaisha?
Preventing depression is great effort. However, if you find yourself feeling depression, there are several options you can try. Any meditation exists for people going through depression. A variety of depression therapy types may be able to access which overwhelming through exploring meditation or therapist option with the helpful can be important for managing your depression. If you think you might go first step by reaching out, you're taking an important step in protecting your health. Other students are going through similar that many students have reported that they don't think they think about someone they has been. We have access to many resources when it comes to mental health and depression. High school and middle school students can reach out to a guidance counselor to help with navigating depression. College students access to an on-campus health center with them to see if they offer mental health service at a reduced price. It may be included in your tuition at no extra cost to you. Reaching out to trust relative or close friend can be another good idea. The setting with this person is sometimes someone you trust will help you find the resource. A religious figure, the mentor or first family friend are good place instead if you're thinking about talking, taking over your opinion. Remember that you're not you're brave for reaching out for help with your depression.
Thank you, Dr. Noaisha. According to a recent study, 1 in 3 college students experience significant depression and anxiety. Another study found that 46% and 24% of students suffer from abnormal anxiety and depression, respectively. In order to create a better learning environment and smooth function, it is urgent need to focus and promote the mental health of students during their academic burden. In today's talk show, we have a learn about a science, cause, prevent method, and treatment that could be done for depression and anxiety among the students. I would like to thank both of my guests, which is Dr. Noaisha and also Ms. Yugashini, for sharing their insight on depression and anxiety among the students. That will be the end of our talk show today. I'm Norris, your host, sign off, and I see you guys on our next talk show. Bye bye.